Romantic Tales. Chapter 553. He's a public figure, so please don't tell anyone about this. Also, I'm sure you saw his age on his ID, so please don't say anything. You know that in the entertainment industry, age is a secret. This is just a reward. It's okay, I'll keep it a secret. Don't worry, just take the money. As an employee of Southside, I have basic manners. Okay. Seeing that Huamin didn't want to take the money, the agent didn't insist and turned to leave. As for Ni Yang's ID, she really didn't look at it. What did his age have to do with her? She wasn't a fan of celebrities, so she didn't care about women like Zhao Qingyao or Jian Tong. While Su Yu was in the hospital, the film festival opened and female celebrities came to visit him every day. She was used to seeing male celebrities trying to curry favor with their boss. Seeing that it was still early and there wasn't much to do at the hospital, Huamin drove back to the old house. Yang Mirong was sunbathing with her tabby cat in her arms. Huamin saw this warm scene as soon as he entered the yard. "Mom, why are you back?" Yang Mirong opened her eyes and saw Huamin. She seemed to be in a good mood. "Nothing much, I just came to see you and buy you some groceries." Huamin knew that she ate very sparingly when she was alone at home, so he bought a lot of vegetables and meat when he passed by the supermarket. Then he put them in the fridge for her. "Don't waste money, I have food and there's a market nearby." "Why waste money? Supermarkets are expensive." Yang Meng nagged. Huamin only smiled quietly. "Xixin came back last night and he brought a girl home," Yang Merong suddenly said. "Huh? He told you?" Huamin was a bit surprised. Yeah, although Xixin is a bit young, it's normal for him to be in a relationship. Which normal boy or girl doesn't date? I'm not that old-fashioned. That girl is quite pretty, she said she's from your hospital. Is that the same hospital you used to work at? Huamin nodded. Yes, she graduated from the same medical school as me. She often calls me senior sister. How's that girl's character? Yang Merong asked worriedly. His character is quite good, but he's still young after all. I'm afraid that the future is hard to predict. Our family isn't good enough and Xixin's university isn't good enough. I just want him to find a gentle girl and live the rest of his life peacefully. I don't ask for anything else. Huamin placed his hand on the back of his mother's hand. "Oh, we will. I'll take care of Xixin's wedding, don't worry." Heh. It's still too early to talk about that. He hasn't graduated yet and his marriage will only happen in a few years. Yeah, we're all worried about him. As his sister and his mother, we probably care too much about Xixin. Luckily, he's been very obedient all these years and hasn't caused any trouble for us. Everyone in the neighborhood knew how much Huamin loved Xixin. When they were little, as long as there was an apple, she would give it to Xixin. She had always spoiled him. Although she now knew that she was no longer related to him by blood, her love for Xixin only increased. "Have you been tired from work lately? You don't seem to be in good spirits." "I worked a few night shifts in a row. Maybe it's because I stayed up too late." Huamin smiled as he rubbed the dark circles under his eyes. "If you stay up late, you need to sleep more. Don't run around and drink more beauty soups. You're still young, don't look like an old woman." "I know, Mom, I'll keep that in mind." Huamin smiled as he held onto her arm. It had been a long time since he dared to be so close to her. He was afraid that she would reject him. However, Yang Merong's attitude towards Huamin seemed to have improved quite a bit. Maybe it was because of Xixin's roar last time that she was enlightened. "Does he treat you well?" After a long silence, Yang Merong suddenly asked. Huamin knew that his mother was talking about Qin Chu. Chapter 554. "Mom, to be honest, he's really good to me. Super good." Huamin used super twice in a row to magnify this good to the extreme. Yang Merong knew Huamin well. She wasn't a child who liked to lie, so she believed what she said was true. If that's the case, then I'm relieved. After all, he's not like his parents who have a human face but a beast's heart. Mom, thank you for understanding. So what if I don't? It's been so long. Xixin was right about one thing. You've been tired, I've been tired, and everyone's tired. If I don't let go, you'll be the one suffering. We're mother and daughter, why should I make things difficult for my own daughter? Mom, thank you. Huamin grabbed Yang Meirong's hand, a little emotional. She didn't think that her mother would grant her wish so soon. If he dares to betray you in the future, Xixin and I won't let him off the hook. His family might be rich, but we're not afraid of him. I'm old and I only have one life left. For you and Jishin I'm willing to do anything. Yang Merong had a sharp tongue but a soft heart, so Huamin knew that she meant what she said. He won't, Mom. If he dares to betray me I won't let him off the hook. Huamin smiled. She had a simple afternoon meal with her mother. There were 2 dishes, 1 meat dish, 1 vegetable dish and soup. Yang Merong saw that Huamin wasn't in good spirits, so she kept pouring soup for her. Huamin couldn't refuse her kindness and drank 3 bowls. In the end she couldn't drink any more. After eating she chatted with her mother for a while. Then she looked at her phone and saw that it was about time. She had just returned to Southside when she heard that Director Lee from the neurology department wanted to talk to her about something urgent. Huamin changed into her white lab coat and immediately went to the neurology department on the 5th floor. Because of Huang Jiaming's incident, Huamin had interacted with the neurology department many times. After a while she became familiar with them. Director Lee of the neurology department admired Huamin's talent. He had once told Director Wu at a conference. Huamin openly challenged Associate Hospital Director Gua, and his analysis of the Department of Neurology was clear and logical. At the time, Chief Lee thought that it was such a waste for Huamin to be the head nurse. Director Lee, are you looking for me? Director Lee was an old lady in her 50s. Although she was young, her hair was already white. He had a benevolent look on his face and was very popular. He was also very popular in Southside. Huamin, have a seat. Huamin nodded and sat on the chair opposite Director Lee's office. Huamin, I've always felt that you've studied neurology. Do you still remember Huang Jiaming? I remember. He went back to school after he was discharged. He's recovering very well. It's all thanks to the treatment plan you gave him. It's very useful. It's good that the child can recover. Huamin smiled with relief. I'm here today because I need your help with something. Please go ahead, Director Lee. Huamin felt quite bad that such an old professor was personally asking for his help. I've just received a new patient. His condition is quite complicated. I hope that you can help me with his condition and come up with the best treatment plan. Then we can help him recover. That's not a problem. What's his condition? Depression. Upon hearing the word depression, Huamin's expression changed. Depression was one of the most dangerous types of mental illness. This was because most people with depression had suicidal tendencies. To them, life was meaningless and death was their only release. Depression. It's quite difficult. I don't have any experience with it, Director Lee. Huamin didn't dare to make any promises. After all, this was a matter of life and death. That's not a problem. I believe in your ability and ability. How about this? Take a look at his medical record first and then make a decision. After speaking, Director Lee handed Huamin a medical record. When she flipped to the first page and saw the name, her hand that was holding the document froze slightly. Na Yang? That superstar actually suffered from depression. Chapter 555. Director Lee, this? Huamin looked at Director Lee in confusion. The medical records of superstars were supposed to be top secret. Was it really okay for Director Lee to show it to him in public? It's fine, I know what you want to ask. I trust you, Huamin. You've been at Southside for quite some time. As the saying goes, distance tests a horse, and time reveals a person's heart. I've gotten to know you well over the past few months. You're actually a kind-hearted girl. You don't like to meddle in other people's business because you're afraid of trouble, but you definitely don't condone evil. That's why you've offended Deputy Director Gua and his brother-in-law, right? Director Lee, I'm not as high and mighty as you make me out to be. I'm just working for a living, Huamin said with a humble smile. Kid, I've been in the hospital for a long time. I'm not wrong about people. I've already asked President Wu to let you help me in the neurology department, but I heard that you refused to be a doctor for in-service training. I don't want to ask about your personal reasons, it's all private. I just think it's a pity that you're such a talented person. Staying in the orthopedics department as a head nurse is a waste of your talents. Director Lee, actually Let me finish, kid. Since Director Lee was quite old, Huamin felt very warm when she called him a kid. Hey, go ahead. Looking at how cute Director Lee was trying her best to convince him, Huamin truly thought she was an adorable old lady. Once at the conference I saw you openly refuting Deputy Dean Gua. You used the theoretical knowledge of professional neurology to make him slap his face. At that time I felt that you didn't study it on a whim. You might also like this aspect, so you put in the effort, right? Yeah, I'm interested in neurology, ophthalmology, and neurosurgery. I studied a lot in school, but I don't have any clinical experience. When I was at the first hospital, I did my internship in the OB/GYN department. Huamin nodded and said honestly. I know. That's why I think that if you come to help me this time, you can treat it as a clinical trial. Are you willing to come? Director Lee, he's a superstar. If the treatment fails, it will damage your reputation. Are you sure you want me to come over? Huamin asked worriedly. Don't worry, I'll take responsibility no matter what happens. I won't implicate you. That's not what I meant. I'm just worried. Don't worry about anything. I'll take care of everything. Director Lee patted his chest and promised. Huamin was very touched. She had always admired people who were upright and kind. Needless to say, Director Lee's medical skills were excellent. As a professional professor, he was also very upright. Therefore, even though this matter had nothing to do with Huamin, she still agreed to Director Lee's request. If that's the case, I'll give it a try. Director, I might not succeed. Huamin didn't beat around the bush. I know. After all, depression can't be cured immediately. If it was cured, you would be a god. It's a mental illness that the whole world can't treat. N.I. Yang's condition is quite bad. He also has insomnia and anxiety in his eyes. His agent is afraid that he can't take it anymore, so he came to ask for help. Also, because Southside is quite secretive, they chose us. Just do your best, don't put too much pressure on yourself. Huamin nodded. Then I'll take you to see the patient first. Why don't you talk to him first? Director Lee asked tentatively. Okay, but Director Lee, what about the orthopedics department? Don't worry about that. I'll ask President Wu to transfer a head nurse over to take care of it. You just need to focus on this case. Okay, I got it. One couldn't multitask. Huamin couldn't manage the orthopedics department and the neurology department at the same time. Fortunately, Director Lee was well prepared. She called President Wu and asked for a transfer. Not only did President Wu agree without hesitation, but he also agreed to let Director Lee train Huamin more. Huamin met with N.I. Yang alone in the VIP consultation room of the neurology department. He was still wearing the same mask. He looked haggard as he sat on the windowsill and looked out the window. Hello, I'm your assistant physician, Huamin. Huamin introduced himself as soon as he entered the room, hoping to close the gap between him and N.I. Yang. Chapter 556. N.I. Yang turned his head to look at Huamin, but his expression didn't change at all. It's you? Obviously he remembered her. Director Lee invited me to participate in your treatment. I hope that you can cooperate with me during this period of time so that we can complete a treatment plan to alleviate your illness. I'm not sick, I just don't like to talk. Huamin smiled slightly. I know. Being in a bad mood for too long is also a type of illness. I won't treat you like a special patient, and you shouldn't treat yourself like a patient either. Let's just chat like friends. Hearing Huamin's words, N.I. Yang seemed to let down his guard. He walked over and sat across from Huamin. Sister Ingzi said that you might leak my age to the media, but I said that you wouldn't. If I said that I didn't see your birth date on your ID, would you believe me? Huamin looked at him, feeling wronged. N.I. Yang slowly took off his mask, revealing that clean and delicate face and that sorrowful smile. I believe you. I've always believed in the beauty of this world. That's why I fell so hard. He smiled bitterly. Huamin thought that N.I. Yang had a heavy burden on his heart, as if he had been lied to before. Of course, this was just a guess, and it might not be true. Actually, sometimes people aren't happy because they have more, but because they don't care too much. We can't care too much about our gains and losses, and we can't care too much about what others think of us. First of all, you have to face your own heart. When you don't doubt whether or not you're happy, then you're truly happy. N.I. Yang froze slightly, then he laughed mockingly. You must have read too much Chicken Soup for the Soul on the internet. No, what I'm trying to say is that if you can understand, you might not be in so much pain. Huamin comforted him. I've heard many great truths, but I still can't live a good life. N.I. Yang lowered his head and murmured. Compared to many of your peers, you're already very outstanding. You have tens of millions of fans, you have the halo of a superstar. You like to sing, so you sing. You want to release an album, so you release it. You're doing things that many people dream of. You're not happy probably because you've gotten too much. It's lonely at the top. When N.I. Yang heard this, he seemed to be slightly moved. He lifted his head and looked at Huamin. If it's possible, I would really like to exchange places with you right now. You can be a superstar and I can be an ordinary person. You're wrong. You haven't experienced my life, so you think it's very peaceful. You don't know that everyone's life is full of storms and waves. Life can't be smooth sailing. You envy me because you don't understand me. If you understood my experience, perhaps you would be satisfied with your current life. Can my illness be cured? You're finally admitting that it's an illness. Huamin couldn't help but ask with a smile. Who was the one who said that he wasn't sick and that he was just in a bad mood? Didn't you say that being in a bad mood is also a type of illness? After speaking, the two looked at each other and smiled. Huamin saw that the timing was right, so he picked up the medical record and looked at it. Your situation is a bit complicated. Director Lee diagnosed you with depression, insomnia, and anxiety. But I think you might have other conditions such as neurasthenia, trigeminal and cerebrovascular pain, etc. So, I'm going to treat your insomnia first. A person's mental state can only improve after a good rest. I'm taking sleeping pills, Yang said in a low voice. What I mean is, from now on you can stop taking those sleeping pills. Why? Aren't you going to treat my insomnia? How am I going to treat it if I stop taking the pills? Yang was a bit confused. At this moment he wondered if Huamin was a professional or not. Chapter 557. Yes, I'm going to cure it completely, not let you rely on drugs. If you take too many sleeping pills, they will control the nerves in your brain. There will be a lot of side effects. Of course, if you trust me, I can give you a wholehearted plan. You can choose to continue living or not. After hearing this, Yang was silent and hesitated for a long time. When Huamin came out of the VIP consultation room, she was smiling because Yang finally compromised and chose to believe her. Treating depression was a long and arduous task. It was not something that could be done in a day or two. Since Director Lee believed in her, she could not let her down. Girl, what are you busy with? Zhu Lingling sent Huamin a WeChat message as soon as she got off the plane. I'm busy with my treatment. Guess who I just saw on the plane? It's actually the male star Zhang Yu, the guy who often acts as the second male lead in anti-Japanese dramas. He's quite handsome, but he's so stingy. He actually brought his agent and assistant to sit in economy class, and he even wore a big mask. Zhu Lingling said proudly. Can I say that I just saw Yang? Fuck, who did you see? Zhu Lingling suddenly lost her calm. Yang. Fuck. Zhu Lingling used 3 fucks to express her feelings at this moment. Why are you so surprised? Is it necessary? Yes. You don't know how mysterious Yang is. He's so popular that it's almost purple, but his whereabouts are very mysterious and low-key. When he travels, not only does he sit in first class, but he also refuses to serve any service, not even meals. Even the stewardesses can't see him. At most, we see his back when he boards the plane, or his face with a mask and sunglasses. Did you know? The tabloid media out there is buying any information about Yang. As long as it's related to him, even if it's just a yawn, a photo of him will be sold for 100,000 yuan. 100,000 yuan? Huamin suddenly felt embarrassed. If she were to sell Yang's ID card, wouldn't she be able to sell it for millions? If she were to be even more wicked and sell Yang's medical records, wouldn't she be able to sell them for tens of millions? It was really easy to earn money. He could become rich in a matter of minutes. But would she do that? Of course not. Protecting the patient's privacy was the most basic morality of a medical worker. If he didn't even have this bit of morality, how could he stay in the medical field? Yes, 100,000 yuan. So you saw Yang in the hospital. Did you take a photo? Zhu Lingling asked. Well, then why did Yang go to your hospital? Visiting a friend. Huamin made up a story. It wasn't that she didn't trust Ling Ling, but she was very angry. She didn't want to take the risk. She trusted Ling Ling, but what if Ling Ling also trusted someone else? If word got out, it wouldn't be good if news about Yang got out. Oh, I think I heard about it too. I saw on the news that his fans are crazy and follow him everywhere he goes. Yeah, when he came to the hospital there was a huge crowd outside. Huamin knew this very well. Then tell me, is Yang handsome in person? Is he as handsome as your Mr. Qin? No, Huamin said decisively. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, okay? Yang is ranked number 1 in Asia's top 10 most attractive male celebrities in Asia. I don't follow celebrities, I don't understand, Huamin replied calmly. How about compared to Suyu? Is he as handsome as young Master Su? Zhu Lingling didn't give up. He's okay, I really don't know how to judge these things, sister. I know you only have eyes for your Mr. Qin. Stop torturing us. Zhu Lingling giggled. After chatting with Zhu Lingling for a while, Huamin went back to the orthopedics department to hand over some work. After all, he was going to be busy in the neurology department. After handing over his work, he was about to go eat when he ran into Suyu in the hallway. Tang Chuan was with him, but Wei Liao was nowhere to be seen. Hello, head nurse. After witnessing Huamian's power, Tang Chuan would always greet her jokingly every time they met. Chapter 558. Huamin nodded and smiled as a greeting. Where are you going? Tang Chuan asked playfully. I'm going to the staff cafeteria for dinner. Ha, what a coincidence, we haven't eaten yet either. Why don't we eat together? Tang Chuan volunteered. Suyu on the other hand didn't say anything. He just looked at Huamin. The food in our cafeteria is super disgusting, Huamin reminded him in a friendly manner. It's okay, Lord Su, and I don't have any dietary restrictions. As long as it's food it's fine, right, Lord Su? After saying this, Tang Chuan deliberately looked at Suyu and asked. Then he quietly added, I'll be discharged tomorrow morning. You won't have the chance to come to Southside so openly in the future. I'm giving you a chance, so you have to cherish it. Unexpectedly, after Suyu heard what Tang Chuan said, he said, the food in your staff cafeteria is really disgusting, it's like pig feed. Tang Chuan, Huamin, bro, is it really okay for you to expose me like this? I can only help you up to this point. Tang Chuan thought that Suyu was crazy. He was giving him a chance to treat his illness, but not only did he not appreciate it, he even said that the food in the staff cafeteria was like pig feed. How could he still have friends if he talked like this? However, only Huamin could treat someone like Suyu. Huamin looked at him and said word by word, you're saying it like you've eaten pig feed before. Otherwise, how would you know that pig feed is disgusting? Tang Chuan, Suyu, ha, Huamin, you're awesome. Other than the wall, I won't submit to anyone but you. Tang Chuan burst into laughter and gave him a thumbs up. Suyu's face darkened. I'm going to eat first. Bye. Huamin felt that there was no need to waste time with these two rich kids. The food in the staff cafeteria was bad, but if she didn't eat it, wouldn't her meal card be wasted? It was not a good habit to waste food from the motherland. He simply turned around and walked towards the restaurant. Unexpectedly, she had only taken a few steps when she heard footsteps behind her. She turned around and saw that the two of them had followed her. Didn't you just say it was like pig swill? She looked at Suyu in amusement and asked. Yes, I want to eat pig swill today. I don't want to eat anything else. Suyu replied domineeringly. Huamin was so shocked that he was almost petrified. Don't lower yourself to his level. He's just as willful at home. Tang Chuan advised Huamin with a smile. 10 minutes later, the three of them sat in the hospital's cafeteria. The scene of hundreds of people eating together was really spectacular. Ever since Suyu retired from the military, he had never seen such a lively scene. Tang Chuan lowered his head and looked at the braised meatballs, stir-fried Chinese cabbage and wood ear, and a watermelon soup on his plate. He didn't know where to start. After all, these rich people had very tricky appetites. Usually when Suyu and Tang Chuan went to the cafeteria, they would order at least 10 dishes. They would only take a few bites of each dish just to taste it. This was the first time he saw such a shabby dinner. The problem was, it was really bad. Tang Chuan took a bite of the meatballs and immediately cursed. Fuck. Does this chef buy salt for free? I bet he put a bag of salt here. Huamin lowered his head and took a small bite as well. Then he smiled and said, it's okay, it's always like this. I'm used to it. If you guys don't like it, then hurry up and leave. Don't take up seats here and waste food. To his surprise, Suyu picked up his chopsticks and put the meatballs from Tang Chuan's plate onto his own. What are you doing, Lord Su? Didn't you say it was salty? Then I'll eat it for you. Oh right, this isn't salty, you can have it all. After speaking, Suyu gave all the stir-fried Chinese cabbage and wood ear to Tang Chuan. Tang Chuan suddenly felt like countless alpacas were running through his mind. Blackwood ear. Blackwood ear. This dish, let alone eating it, just looking at it made him sick. This Southside cafeteria was so dark. He really admired how Huamin could eat here every day. At this moment, They were so focused on eating that no one noticed the sound of a camera in the corner. GK headquarters, Chin Chu had just finished a meeting and was about to get off work when he saw his mother walk in angrily. "Son, I want to show you something." After speaking, Lady Chin took out her phone and showed it to Chin Chu. Chapter 559. After Chin Chu looked at the photos, he asked calmly, "Mom, where did you get these photos?" The photos were of Su Yu and Huamin eating together at a restaurant. They seemed to be talking and laughing. Su Yu looked at Huamin gently while Huamin was eating with his head down. Although it was only a side profile, it was clear that it was Huamin. "You don't need to know where I got these photos from. Don't you think this woman is indecent? She's already married to you, but she's still flirting outside. Our family is so rich, she doesn't need to worry about food and clothes, but she still wants to expose herself. If she's not despicable, then what is?" "Mom, did you ask someone to follow her and take these photos?" Chin Chu's expression didn't look too good. It wasn't because of the photos of Huamin, but because he was afraid that his mother would follow Huamin and investigate her. "Why would I? In your eyes, am I that kind of despicable and shameless person? Do I have nothing better to do than to secretly take photos of her? Is she worth it? An unknown number sent this to me an hour ago. I called back but I couldn't get through." Lady Chin raised her voice and explained. "Let me see." Chin Chu took his mother's phone and looked at it. It was indeed an MMS from another number. However, the number was garbled and couldn't be called back. Chin Chu knew that this number was created by hackers online. It wouldn't leave any traces. "Okay, I got it." "What do you mean you got it? You have to divorce her. The Chin family doesn't want a woman like her." After Mrs. Chin took the photos, she immediately ran to the company to complain to Chin Chu. She wanted to quickly destroy the relationship between Huamin and Chin Chu. "Mom, you're too nervous. This is nothing, it's just a daily photo. She has so many people in the hospital and so many male colleagues come and go. Isn't it normal for her to eat together?" Chin Chu laughed. "Heavens. Son, do you think I'm a fool? If it was an ordinary colleague, would I still be so angry?" The man in the photo was not from the hospital. He was Su Yu. Did you know that? That second generation of the Su clan. Don't pretend you don't know. I know it's impossible that you don't know. Huamin is a vixen. Not only did she bewitch you, she's now seducing the Su clan. She's really shameless. I've never seen such a woman. Lady Chin was very agitated at this moment. It seemed that no amount of cursing was enough to vent her anger. She had always been prejudiced against Huamin, so she was about to explode from anger. "Mom, so you know that person is Su Yu? That's impressive." Chin Chu smiled meaningfully. "I occasionally drink tea and play cards with Mrs. Su, so of course I'm familiar with Su Yu. I don't even know when Su Yu met her. That woman is really restless. So we can't have her. We have to find a girl with a clean background to live with and have children with, okay? Listen to me." Lady Chin tried both soft and hard methods. When she saw that Chin Chu was unmoved, she began to put on a pitiful act and tried to persuade her son with tears in her eyes. "Mom, do you think I'm a smart person or an idiot?" When Lady Chin heard Chin Chu's question, she paused for a second before replying, "Of course my son is a smart person. Then do you think I can't tell right from wrong? Do I only listen to one side of the story?" Chin Chu asked again. "This isn't just one side of the story. This is solid evidence. Son, wake up. Look at these photos. Although they're not in bed, I believe that these are signs of cheating. Su Yu isn't an ordinary person. I don't believe that their meeting was a coincidence. It must be that woman's deliberate plan, just like how she purposely approached you at second high." Lady Chin always thought that Huamin and Chin Chu were set up so that she could marry into a rich family. Chapter 560. Mom, I'm very clear-headed. If you admit that I'm not an idiot, then trust my judgment, okay? Mom wants to talk to you. However, before Mrs. Chin could finish her sentence, her son interrupted her. "Yang, take my mom out. She's tired," Chin Chu ordered coldly. "Yes, sir. Mrs. Chairman, this way please. The president still has important documents to sign." Yang carefully watched the mother and son battle, not daring to offend either of them. In the end, Lady Chin had no choice but to clench her teeth and leave. Chin Chu then lowered his head and went back to work. When it was almost time to get off work, he turned off his computer and asked Yang, "Tell me, if your mom and your wife fell into the water at the same time, Who would you save first? Sir, stop messing around. Hurry up and tell me, Chin Chu urged. Of course it would be my mom, Yang answered confidently. You're so filial. Chin Chu didn't think that the wife-loving Yang would choose his mother without hesitation. It was quite surprising. Because my wife knows how to swim, hee. Chin Chu was speechless. I'll deduct all of your bonuses for this month. After speaking, Chin Chu got up and walked out. Sir, you can't be like this. If you're not happy with my answer, you'll deduct my bonus. Then I'll answer again. I'll save my wife first. Then you won't get next month's bonus either. How unfilial, Chin Chu said in all seriousness. Another bolt from the blue. Sir, if you want to deduct my bonus, just say so. Don't ask such complicated questions next time, okay? Yang felt wronged. I already recorded what we just said. I'll send it to your wife in a bit so she can listen to it. Fuck. Yang's heart was boiling. Sir, what do you need me to do? Please tell me. I'm willing to do anything for you, as long as you don't torture me like this. You don't have to do anything for me, but you need to be more careful in the future and don't let my mom into the office. So it was about that. Assistant Yang immediately let out a sigh of relief. Don't worry, boss. The next time your mother comes, I'll immediately kick her out. No, I'll ask her to leave. I promise I won't let the chairman's wife enter your office, even if she yells at me. For the sake of the bonus, Yang was ready to go all out. Okay. Chin Chu nodded with satisfaction. But what if the chairman comes? I have to kick him out. No, do I have to ask him to leave? Yang asked hesitantly. No need. My dad won't come looking for me easily. Chin Chu knew his father well. He was a cautious person. He wouldn't be like his mother, who couldn't wait for the whole world to know the slightest sign of trouble. After leaving GK, he didn't go home because Huamin wasn't home. He had been working the night shift lately. As he drove to Southside, the weather in late autumn was already a little cold, especially at night. The temperature dropped a lot. Chin Chu was wearing a limited edition VR jacket. It was navy blue with a pure white long-sleeved shirt inside. It matched perfectly. After all, with a good-looking face, anything he wore would be off the charts. Are you off work yet? Want to come out for a drink? Gao Ran sent him a WeChat message. No, I have to keep my wife company, Chin Chu proudly replied. Wait, sharp-tongued Ling said that your wife has been working the night shift lately. Gao Ran was indeed a detective and was well informed. That's why I have to go to the hospital with her. I can't take it anymore. Can't you stop torturing me with your words? Gao Ran looked at him with disdain and then hung up. Huamin was currently in his office flipping through files and medical records of patients with depression. He was coming up with a treatment plan for Ni Yang. She smiled sweetly when she received the call. Honey, did you miss me? Chin Chu asked on the other end of the phone. I did, Huamin replied with a smile. Did you want to see me? Yes, let's do a video call. As he spoke, Huamin picked up his phone and was about to turn on the video call mode. Just as he was about to do a video call, he saw the person in the office push open, and then her gorgeous husband stood at the door. You? Huamin was pleasantly surprised. Chapter 561. Am I hallucinating? Why is Mr. Chin here? Huamin smiled. Because Mr. Chin misses you a lot. Chin Chu's lips were filled with gentleness. If you were lucky enough to look into his eyes right now, you would definitely melt into his gentle gaze. Without another word, Huamin threw herself at him. She wrapped her arms around Chin Chu's neck. Luckily, they were in a private office, so no one could see the head nurse, who was usually so calm and collected. She also had such a coquettish and clingy side. Did you just get off work? Huamin looked up and asked with a smile. Yeah. You haven't eaten yet, right? No. Then what should I do? I already ate. If I knew you were coming, I wouldn't have eaten. It's okay, I'm not hungry. No, wait for me, I'll find you something to eat. Huamin held onto Chin Chu's hand and sat him down on a chair. Then she opened a small cabinet under her desk. She rummaged through the cabinets and took out a bunch of snacks. They were all snacks that she had to eat to save time when she was busy with work. There was sakama date cake, Marco Polo ham, jelly with fruit, and Mingyo yogurt. Hurry up and eat some. It's not good for your stomach if you starve for too long. Make do with these for now. I'll take you to a nearby restaurant after I'm done with work. It's okay, I'll eat these. Chin Chu never ate snacks, but he knew how Huamin felt. She wanted to share all the good food with him just like how a kindergarten kid would share lollipops with their friends. Chin-Chu picked up the cake and took a bite, then drank a mouthful of yogurt. Huamin immediately picked up a tissue from the table and handed it to him. Have you been busy lately? Chin-Chu asked with concern. Huamin felt a little guilty. Yes. The orthopedics department is already very busy, and I received a neurology patient from Chief Li today. So, I might be even busier in the future. Once she got busy, she would have a lot of night shifts, so she would have very little time to accompany Chin-Chu. I'm fine as long as you take care of your body. I'm just worried that you'll be too tired and your body won't be able to take it. I won't. I'll be careful. I won't let Mr. Chin worry, I promise. Huamin smiled and raised his hand. Chin-Chu looked at her and smiled dotingly. Chin-Chu knew that Huamin loved medical research, so he was 100% supportive of her career. She would never complain that you worked so hard and couldn't earn much. This was because many professions couldn't be measured by money. They were more in terms of value. When a person's heart is small, their perspective will be small and their vision will also be small. When a person's heart is large, their vision will also be large and their vision will also be large. Chin-Chu always knew that Huamin wasn't a normal person, and that his wife was a medical genius who was beyond arrogant. Chapter 562. I'm going to try and see if I can undo the knot in his heart, and then think of other ways to focus his attention. Once a person loses the desire to live, it must be because there's nothing in this world that he can't bear to leave. I have to find something that he can't bear to leave before that happens. Huamin confidently discussed her idea with Chin-Chu, the medical doctor. It's easy to say but hard to put into practice. Mian. Patients with depression always have a lock in their heart, and it won't be easily opened by others. This might be a difficult case to solve, but since you want to take it, I'll help you. Thank you, honey. Huamin thought that Chin-Chu would persuade her to give up on this patient. She didn't expect him to be 100% supportive, and her mood instantly improved. Then she naughtily took a piece of sakama, took half of it and gave the rest to Chin-Chu. This is delicious, but it's too sweet. For your health, I have to help you finish half of it. Chin-Chu took the sakama with a smile and quietly ate it. He didn't mind that it was Huamin's leftovers at all. How old is this patient? Chin-Chu casually asked as he ate. Huamin froze for a second because she really didn't know how old An Yang was. His agent seemed to hate this and didn't even write it in his medical records. What's wrong? Chin-Chu asked when he saw that Huamin was slightly stunned. I don't know how old he is. Because he's an actor, it's a bit confidential. Should I call Dr. Li and ask? Huamin was about to make the call. However, Chin-Chu said, no need. Then Chin-Chu turned on his phone and looked up An Yang on Baidu. The year 1992 was written on it. This meant that he was 25 years old this year. Even if it was fake, the difference wouldn't be too big. The patient is between 25 to 30 years old. He's still young, so there's still a chance for him to be cured. You did the right thing. Stop his medication first and restore his normal thinking. However, his condition is quite serious now. If you stop the medication abruptly, it will be dangerous. So I suggest hypnosis. Hypnosis? Huamin was slightly startled. That's right. You'd better ask your hospital to find an outstanding psychologist to hypnotize him. First, find out what the shadow in his heart is, and then solve the knot in his heart through hypnosis. After that, when he's not so anxious, you can proceed to the second step, which is to find a reason for him to live. It's a good idea, but I don't know if the person involved will accept it. After all, it involves privacy. Celebrities are all very concerned about this. You can talk to him about this. I believe that with your persuasiveness he will definitely agree. Chin-Chu was very confident in Huamin. Huamin smiled and walked to Chin-Chu's side. She placed her small hand in his broad palm. Thank you, Mr. Chin, for your advice. I have no words to express my gratitude. If you really want to thank me, why don't you do something more practical? Chin-Chu's lips curled up. For example? Huamin looked at him and asked. The night is still young. Dr. Hua, do you want to do something? Chin-Chu said as he pulled Huamin into his arms. Then his hands began to wander around. This is the office, it'll be bad if someone comes in. I just want to kiss my wife, what's so bad about that? Chin-Chu didn't think much of it. I see. Huamin was scared for nothing. She thought that Mr. Chin was going to do it with her in the office. What did you think? Chin Chu smiled wickedly. I didn't think anything of it. Huamin blushed and denied it. If it's nothing, why are you blushing? Chin Chu asked mischievously. Before Huamin could finish, Chin Chu's slightly cold lips captured hers. Then they melted into a passionate kiss. Chapter 563. After a while, Chin Chu finally let go of Huamin. Huamin, on the other hand, thought what they did was too bold. If someone came in and saw them, it would be so embarrassing. Shouldn't they do this at home? Seeing Huamin's blushing face, Chin Chu's lips curved up slightly. Honey, I'll leave you to work, I'm going to go now. So soon? Huamin was reluctant to leave. You're still working, I can't stay here and disturb you. As Chin Chu spoke, he stood up with a smile on his face. Huamin quietly followed behind him, her small hand held in his big hand. Chin Chu didn't tell Huamin about the photos that were secretly taken, nor did he ask her because he trusted his wife 100%. The people who took the photos had ulterior motives. They wanted nothing more than to ruin their relationship. He thought of a few people. The first one was that his mother directed and acted in a show and she hired someone to take the photos herself. The second one was that psycho Huasiqian. He might have started to make a move, so he hired someone to take the photos and send them to his mother in an attempt to cause internal strife in the Qin family. The third one was Suyu. Chin Chu already knew how he felt about Huamin, but he didn't do anything about it. This wasn't the style of the young master of the Su family, so the possibility of Suyu being the culprit was very high. When the two arrived at the entrance of the hospital, Suyu happened to come out as well. When he saw Huamin, his eyes lit up, but when he saw Chin Chu, they instantly dimmed. What a coincidence, President Su. Chin Chu never shied away from greeting Suyu, and he knew that when it came to Huamin, he would never lose to Suyu. He believed in his 10-year relationship with Huamin. Yeah, what a coincidence. Suyu also greeted him with a cold smile. This was the first time the two of them met in private after parting ways on Gamble God, but they didn't expect it to be at the hospital. Chin Chu smiled slightly and turned around. Honey, you can drop me off here, you should go back to work. Huamin nodded obediently. Chin Chu's plan was to possess Huamin and kiss Su, but he didn't. Because he didn't want to play such a childish trick. He didn't need to tell everyone that he loved Huamin, he just needed to keep it to himself. Chin Chu then walked out of the hospital and Suyu followed him. It seemed like he was going to leave as well. You came to the hospital to spy on Huamin? Check on her. You don't trust Huamin? Suyu asked with a smile. Wrong, if I didn't trust her, I would have just told her to quit her job and stay at home. She wouldn't have to come to the hospital every day and work the night shift, so put away your useless guesses. Chin Chu laughed. You seem to have a lot of confidence in yourself. You think Huamin won't have a change of heart, right? You don't have to say that. Do you think she's a fickle person? Chin Chu asked back. That's not it, I just feel like I lost a chance. If you didn't show up first, she would have been mine. Of course, you showed up earlier than me, so there's nothing I can do about it. So, I think if you quit one day, she'll still be mine. I'll never quit, never. Ah, don't say that too soon. You never know which will come first, tomorrow or an accident, so don't be too sure about some things. What if it comes true in the future? Suyu continued to laugh. President Su, you seem to have a lot of free time these days. Chin Chu looked at Suyu meaningfully. So, what do you plan to do? Do you want to fight me? Suyu took out a lollipop out of nowhere and put it in his mouth, looking at Chin Chu provocatively. Chapter 564. Chin Chu looked at him and said word for word, although I know my Mion doesn't like you, I still hate it when you show up at Southside so often. I think you have too much time on your hands. But it's okay, I'm sure you'll be very busy starting tomorrow. Tomorrow will be a good day. Then Chin Chu smiled mysteriously, got into his Maybach and left. His driving skills were good. Suyu really wanted to chase after Chin Chu and race him, but now wasn't the time. Plus, Chin Chu's car wasn't a sports car and he was driving one. That wasn't fair. He didn't like to bully others. Plus, Chin Chu was right, Huamin didn't care about him at all. He already warned him that they weren't even friends and everything was just one-sided love. So, under these circumstances, so what if he won against Chin Chu? Tomorrow, ahaha, is something going to happen? Then let's do it. If I dare to say anything cowardly, I'll write my name in too. After talking to himself, Suyu got into his sports car and left the hospital. This was his last night at Southside because Tang Chuan would be discharged after dawn, so he had no reason to stay here any longer. He could use his injury as an excuse to recuperate, but he didn't think those excuses were meaningful. They were meaningless. If you liked someone, you had to show them your sincerity and let them see your sincerity. Instead of pestering her shamelessly, that wasn't Mr. Su's style either. After Qin Chu left Southside, he didn't go home. Without Huimin at home, the house was empty, so there was no point in him going back. Instead, he went back to GK headquarters. When Assistant Yang received the call from his boss, he almost thought it was a scammer. If he didn't open his eyes in a daze and see that it was indeed his boss, he would have cursed. So his boss called him at 2 in the morning, asking him to go to the company. Was he crazy? After Assistant Yang arrived, he found out that he wasn't the only one at the emergency meeting. Many higher-ups were there as well. Qin Chu was wearing a dark gray shirt. He held a thick stack of documents in his hands and remained silent. None of the executives dared to make a sound because they knew their boss's weird temper too well. In the end, little Yang couldn't help but ask, "Boss, you called us here because you have an urgent project to finish, right?" Qin Chu slowly put down the documents in his hands, looked around and said, "Starting tomorrow, GK will officially enter the entertainment industry." As soon as he said this, everyone was extremely shocked. Before anyone could react, Qin Chu added, "The first task is to poach all the big-name celebrities from Imperial Star Entertainment. The more the merrier. Money isn't a problem. In a week I'll hold the launch ceremony for GK Film and Television, and I hope those celebrities can walk the red carpet. You guys aren't newbies anymore, so you should all be capable." Chapter 565. That's a good thing. I finally have a rival. Su Yu's voice contained a hint of excitement. "Fuck. Are you crazy? How is that a good thing? Do you know that people outside are obviously trying to steal your man and steal your woman? I heard that Qin Chu plans to hold the red carpet launch ceremony for his new company in a week." A week? They only have a week. How much are they looking down on you? Can you still stay calm? Get the fuck out of bed and go to work. I think Imperial Star is going to be in a mess. Tisk. The eunuch is more worried than the emperor. Just stop talking nonsense, huh? Fuck you, you're the eunuch. Wei Liao had a lot of anger towards Su Yu over the phone early in the morning. Although Su Yu was indeed very capable and had many tricks up his sleeve, Su Yu was also very powerful. The Su family was very powerful, but so was GK, okay? If their star was really taken away in a week, then what could a company that relied on entertainment rely on without their star? Would Su Yu eat dirt? Would people laugh at him? The answer was, of course not. Su Yu got out of bed slowly and chose a very low-key pure white jacket. Compared to Qin Chu's business attire, Su Yu was more casual. Then he drove his black Lamborghini Sixth Element to Imperial Star. That morning, the radio, TV, and newspapers all reported the same thing. GK announced that it was entering the entertainment industry and was expected to become the biggest entertainment company in the country within a year. After this news was released, GK's stock market skyrocketed and rose by 7 to 8 points. Meanwhile, Imperial Star's stock market fell to its lowest point in history and didn't even break 30 yuan. It wasn't even as valuable as some tobacco and alcohol companies. Imperial Star Entertainment headquarters. "Sir, have you seen the news? Sir, how should we deal with this? Sir, are you President Qin, the man who offended GK?" As soon as Su Yu entered his office, a few executives surrounded him and bombarded him with questions. He waved his hand and dismissed them all. "Sir, there's a morning meeting in 5 minutes, Assistant An reminded him. "Tell them to cancel it. We won't open it." "All right." After An spread the news, everyone became even more anxious. Was President Su going to give up on himself? They didn't even want to hold the morning meeting. Weren't they going to think of a way to deal with it? GK had publicly challenged them. 5 minutes later, boss, there are many media outlets and reporters at the entrance of the company. Are we going to hold a press conference? Press conference? Are you going to host it? Su Yu raised his head and asked. And was at a loss for words. "I haven't had breakfast yet. I'll be leaving from the back door in a while." Su Yu stood up and left. Shaoan had followed Su Yu for many years, so he was not surprised by his boss's nonsensical way of doing things. Therefore, he silently followed behind. As soon as he stepped out of the door, Su Yu saw the company's newcomer, Mian Mian, walking over. Recently, she had taken on a few domestic drama series. It was said that her popularity had soared and she had earned a lot of money for the company. President Su, what's up? Suyu looked at Mion's silicone face and was a bit impatient. President Su, don't worry. You brought me up single-handedly. I won't be ungrateful. Even if GK offers me 10 times the price, I won't leave. I will always be on your side and support you unconditionally. Upon hearing Mion's words, Suyu chuckled. Was she here to show her loyalty? The girl was smart enough to know how to take advantage of the situation. It's okay. GK offers you more, then you can all leave. I don't mind. Mion was instantly dumbfounded. After speaking, Suyu walked away. He swaggered towards the breakfast shop, completely ignoring the news that was all over the place. GK headquarters, what's Imperial Star's reaction? What's Suyu's reaction? Qin Chu sat in his office and asked Yang as he read the news online. Chapter 566. Sir, there's been no news from Imperial Star. Huh, at least he can keep his cool. Qin Chu chuckled. This was good because it showed that Suyu was a worthy opponent, not someone who would lose his cool at the slightest provocation. Sir, what's our next step? Assistant Yang still couldn't figure out why GK suddenly wanted to enter the entertainment industry. GK had always had a lot of momentum, and if they joined the entertainment industry they would definitely cause a storm. After all, they had a lot of money. Suyu, on the other hand, was unhurried. He wasn't worried about himself at all. He ate his breakfast and avoided the paparazzi. In a Hong Kong-style restaurant across from Imperial Star Entertainment, Suyu and his assistant quietly ate shrimp dumplings, crab roe buns and enjoyed their morning tea. Sir, do you have any plans for GK's sudden entry into the entertainment industry? En, who was usually quiet, asked. No, Suyu answered without hesitation. Southside Recuperation Center. Huamin got off work and on her way home she was overwhelmed by the overwhelming news. To be honest, she was quite surprised that GK suddenly entered the entertainment industry. After all, Qin Chu never told her about it. Entering the entertainment industry meant that GK would have to confront Suyu head-on, which made Huamin a little worried. Suyu was sometimes very childish and he always did things that were beyond common sense. However, Qin Chu had always been low-key and calm, so why would he mess around with him? Did the two men talk about something that she didn't know about? On the way home, Huamin kept thinking about this question. After she got home, she ate a simple meal and went to bed to catch up on sleep. He slept all the way until noon. A call from Zhu Lingling woke her up at around 12 o'clock. Then the two agreed to meet for lunch. They went to a Korean restaurant on Qingmang Road. When Huamin walked in, Zhu Lingling had already ordered a table full of food. Big sister, are you crazy? You're not on a diet anymore? He remembered that on his WeChat moments, Zhu Lingling talked about losing weight every day. She even swore that she would either lose weight or die. Reality proved that she didn't lose weight and was still alive and well. So it could be seen how unreliable she was. If I'm not full, how can I have the strength to lose weight? Zhu Lingling answered logically. Huamin was truly speechless. Let me tell you, there are two kinds of people that you can't be friends with the most. One is the person who wakes up from his bed in the early morning of winter. And the other is the person who really loses weight when he says he wants to lose weight, Zhu Lingling said slowly after taking a small bite of sushi. Warrior, why do you say that? Huamin looked at her with amusement. Because the experts said that these two kinds of people are too cruel. If they can be cruel to themselves, they might be even crueler to their friends. Ahem. So you're saying that people like you who say they want to lose weight but can't lose weight are more suitable to be friends with because they're soft-hearted? Huamin asked. Zhu Lingling smiled slightly. That's right. Okay, since you're such a good friend, today's meal is on you. Fuck. You're a super rich woman, how can you cheat a commoner like me? Zhu Lingling yelled. The two began to eat while chatting and laughing. Time spent with Zhu Lingling was never monotonous, even though Huamin only had one friend to this day. However, she was already very satisfied. She didn't need a lot of friends as long as they were good friends. They could be with you when you were sad, share with you when you were happy, give you positive energy and encouragement when you were lost, and give you sincere blessings when you were happy. That was enough. Alright, did you see the news? Something big happened. As she spoke, Zhu Lingling mysteriously took out her phone, opened the front page of the local news and showed it to Huamin. Chapter 567. Huamin calmly glanced at her and nodded. I know. Does your husband know that you're having an affair with Suyu? Is that why you want to teach him a lesson? Upon hearing Zhu Lingling's question, Huamin almost spat out the soup in his mouth. When did I have an affair with Suyu? Sis, if you're so good at making things up, why don't you become a paparazzi? It's such a waste to be a stewardess. What I mean is, even a blind person can tell that Suyu is interested in you. Did you piss off Mr. Qin? Huamin nodded silently. Yes, Mr. Qin was pissed off. Otherwise, with his arrogant personality, he wouldn't enter the entertainment industry for no reason. I'm guessing it's because of the bet he made with you on the yacht. If I were your husband, I wouldn't be able to stay calm either. Suyu is like that. He's like a child most of the time. He's very direct and shows all his emotions on his face. That's why he's a bit reckless. You'll get used to it. It sounds like you know him quite well. Let me tell you, you can't fall in love with Suyu. Although the Suyu family is rich and powerful and Suyu is very handsome, Mr. Qin has been infatuated with you for years. You can't have a change of heart, Zhu Lingling tried to persuade him. Huamin looked at her amused. Don't worry. Even if the world were to collapse, I wouldn't break up with Mr. Qin. Then I'm relieved. You haven't been dating a cop lately? Huamin glanced at Zhu Lingling and asked. No, definitely not. I know you don't want to tell me. Gao Ran often eats with Mr. Qin and tells him everything. That stupid car driver. Zhu Lingling gritted her teeth and said. If you can develop it, then develop it as soon as possible. Don't let others intercept you when the time comes. No way. Who would fall in love with him? His mouth is so wicked. He doesn't give in to women at all. He often quarrels with me. At the mention of Gao Ran, Zhu Lingling said one thing but meant another. She scolded him a lot. Huamin smiled but didn't say anything. After dinner, the two of them left in separate cars. When Huamin got home, he thought it was still early, so he drove straight to GK headquarters. A young lady. Yang greeted her obediently. Is he inside? It's here. You can go straight in. Huamin nodded, then walked to the CO's office and knocked on the door. Come in. Qin Chu's deep and magnetic voice came from inside. As soon as he looked up and saw Huamin, Qin Chu's eyes immediately softened. He stood up, walked over and held Huamin's hand. Why are you here? Don't you have a night shift today? Why aren't you sleeping at home? I slept in the morning and ate lunch with Lingling. I'm not sleepy anymore, so I thought I'd come to see you since there's still some time before work. Qin Chu pulled Huamin over to sit on the leather sofa. Huamin took out the snacks he bought on the way here and placed them on the coffee table. Honey, here's your afternoon tea. Good girl. Qin Chu patted her head, his eyes filled with uncontrollable happiness. Honey, I want to talk to you about something. Go ahead. Promise me first, then I'll tell you. Huamin, are you copying me? Huamin smiled as he looked at Qin Chu, thinking that he was especially cute right now. Huamin did learn that act first and report later tactic from Huamin, but it worked really well. If you don't agree, then I won't tell you. Okay, then don't tell me. Huamin purposely tried to piss him off. Qin Chu immediately looked wronged. Honey, you can't bully me like this. Every time you use this tactic on me, it always works. I'm just teasing you. Just tell me. Huamin rested his head on Qin Chu's lap and lay down on the sofa. Chapter 568. After Jixin graduates, I want to invite him to help me at GK, Qin Chu said as he gently stroked Huamin's hair. About that, Lin Fan's eyes widened. I told him in private, but he's afraid that you won't agree, so I decided to discuss it with you first and see what you think. It's great that he can help you. GK is a big corporation with a lot of potential and he can use his abilities. It's just that. I'm worried. What are you worried about? Qin Chu asked when he saw that Huamin was hesitant to speak. I'm worried that people will gossip about him, saying that he got to where he is through nepotism. If rumors spread, it won't be good for you or him. You don't have to worry about that. Jixin is like my little brother and we're family. Who can say no to a family business? Jixin and I are concerned about your attitude. If you agree, I'll let him come. If you don't, I won't interfere with Jixin's future. Let's wait and see. He's still a while away from graduation and I don't know what will happen then. Maybe GK will go bankrupt and you'll have to rely on me to support you. Okay, then I'll wait for that day. Chin Chu smiled slightly, leaned down and gently kissed the corner of Huamin's lips. It was as if he wanted to pour all of his gentleness onto her. After a while in the office, Huamin looked at the time and got up to leave. Honey, I'll drive you. It's okay, I'll drive myself. You go back to work. Like I said, rest well. Sir. Huamin smiled as he left the office. He didn't ask about GK's entry into the entertainment industry at all. This was within Chin Chu's expectations. First of all, Huamin wasn't a gossipy person. Secondly, this was GK's business and Huamin never interfered with GK's business. The two of them supported each other's careers, but gave each other absolute freedom. This was the highest realm of loving someone deeply. Loving you but not interfering with you too much. Mutual respect, mutual understanding. When Huamin arrived at Southside, he was called to Director Lee's office. Huamin, how's that thing going? The plan is almost complete. Please take a look. Huamin handed over a thick folder of documents. Director Lee took it and flipped through it for a while. Finally, he nodded in satisfaction. Not bad. As expected of someone I value. His ideas are bold and innovative enough to break the traditional treatment plan. It's worth looking forward to. Director, there's a drawback to this. No one has used it before, so I'm worried that he won't be able to take it. If the treatment fails and he collapses, his condition will worsen. At this point, Huamin didn't continue. However, what she wanted to say was obvious. Don't worry, I've already considered all these risks. If we don't have a reasonable treatment plan, his condition will still worsen. If we stick our neck out, we'll still be stabbed. If we stick our neck out, we'll still be stabbed. If we stick our neck out like this, we won't be able to solve the problem. I support your innovation, so just do it. Thank you, Director Lee. I'll do my best. When Huamin left the office, he picked up his phone and called Gao Ran. Is she here yet? Yes, I called her. She'll be here soon, Gao Ran replied. Thank you, you've helped me a lot this time. If you want to thank me, then ask your Mr. Chin to treat me to a luxurious meal, Gao Ran laughed. No problem, we'll meet another day. Huamin hung up the phone with a smile. She wasn't confident about Ni Yang's treatment. After all, depression was a terrifying disease. If it was cured, then everyone would be happy. If it wasn't cured, then it was a matter of life and death. Head nurse, she's here. Huamin was just about to go downstairs when a nurse from the neurology department ran over to Huamin. Okay, I'll be right there. The person Gao Ran found for her this time had a powerful background. She didn't want to disappoint her. Ni Yang was about to say who the person was. Suddenly, Ni Yang became agitated. Go away, I never want to see you again. Why did you choose him? Why not me? Why not me? As he spoke, Ni Yang held his head in pain as if he was extremely nervous. Huamin also became nervous. She slowly walked over and asked in a low voice, Dr. Jiang, what happened? He failed. There's a hidden pain in his heart that no one knows about. This pain is related to the person in the depths of his memory. It seems like it's been a long time and can't be solved immediately. Let him go back and rest. We'll talk about it next time. After speaking, Jiang Xiaowei stood up, picked up her bag and turned to leave. It was hard to imagine that Jiang Xiaowei, who was such an amiable and approachable woman, could be so heartless at work. After Jiang Xiaowei left, Ni Yang woke up from the hypnosis. His face was pale, as if what he just experienced was a nightmare. Did you fail? Ni Yang asked in a hoarse voice. It's okay, we can try again next time. Don't worry. Ni Yang bit his lip and didn't say anything. Have you been under a lot of pressure lately? Yeah, there's a lot to deal with when signing with a new company. The contract isn't ready yet and we're still negotiating the terms. A lot of people are envious of how glamorous we are, but we're the ones who are the most miserable. We have to work like machines every day and lose the joy of being human. If you were given another chance, would you still choose this path? Huamin slowly asked. Ni Yang was a little surprised. He raised his head and looked into Huamin's clear eyes, a little confused and a little touched. Chapter 570. I guess so. Sometimes you can't just walk the path you want. God won't be so kind as to give you the chance to choose. Sometimes you have no other choice but to work hard. Ni Yang said dispiritedly. Actually, you don't have to live such a tiring life. There's a Buddhist saying that goes, with a thought of peace, lotus flowers bloom everywhere. As long as your mind is peaceful, lotus flowers will bloom everywhere. And I Young repeated this sentence. And you can think about it when you have time. Some things shouldn't be thought too deeply or else you'll be tired. I think the rules of life should be simple and straightforward. For example, if you're tired, sleep. If you're hungry, if you like something, then love. That way you'll feel better. And I Young seemed to be touched by what he heard, and his long eyelashes fluttered. Under the light of the hypnosis lamp, Huamin suddenly felt that this was a quiet and beautiful young man. Young, beautiful, and had all the things that the world envied, but he was living such an unhappy life. It made one's heart ache. You like to play online games, right? How did you know? And I Young raised his head and looked at Huamin cautiously. I saw it on your tieba. They said that you like to play an online game called Xanadu. This game isn't like normal online games where there's fighting and killing. This game doesn't allow killing. It's like the world is peaceful and everyone is living a happy life. Yeah, this kind of thinking can only be realized in the game. And I Young smiled bitterly. Here. Huamin handed over something, but because it was held in his fist, it was hard to tell what it was. What is it? And I Young asked curiously. Huamin slowly opened his palm and there was a candy lying in it. It was a white rabbit creamy candy. Candy. And I Young frowned as if he didn't understand Huamin's intention. If you feel that life is tough, eat one. It's very useful. I'm not a child. Why are you giving me candy? And I Young looked at Huamin with amusement and did not reach out to take it. Who said that only children need to eat candy? Sometimes adults need it more because adults often feel more bitter. Children don't have so many complicated thoughts. Their world is very naive. You're right. And I Young suddenly felt that Huamin's words made sense. He slowly took the candy from Huamin's palm and popped it into his mouth. Is it still bitter? Huamin asked softly. And I Young shook his head. Go back and have a good sleep. Don't think about anything. Let's meet again in a few days when you're free. All right. By the time she was done with N.I. Young, it was already 10 p.m. When he returned to the orthopedics department, he found that there was a pile of documents waiting for him in the office. Huamin, the Virgo workaholic, once again sat at his desk and got busy. Before he knew it, another hour had passed. Suddenly, his stomach began to cramp. Perhaps it was because he hadn't eaten for a long time, and he drank a lot of coffee on an empty stomach, so his stomach was acting up again. Gastritis was a chronic illness that she had when she was very young. It wasn't a serious illness, but it was very torturous. When the pain came, it was heartbreaking. Huamin held onto her stomach and leaned against the desk. She endured the pain and picked up her bag to look for the stomach medicine that she usually prepared. However, because she changed her bag, she didn't bring it. She forced herself to stand up and walk out, intending to get some from the pharmacy. However, she was surprised to see Huasiqian at the door. What's wrong? He didn't tease Huamin like he always did. Instead, he saw that something was wrong with Huamin's expression and immediately walked over to her. I'm fine. Huamin coldly refused his approach. You don't look fine. Go away, it's none of your business. Huamin tried to push him away. However, Huasiqian grabbed her wrist tightly. Huasiqian let go. Huamin was furious. Chapter 571. If you don't tell me what's wrong, I won't let you go. Huasiqian was more serious than ever. My stomach is acting up. In the end, Huasiqian couldn't argue with him, so Huamin had no choice but to surrender. He lowered his head and said, Your stomach is acting up? Huasiqian frowned slightly. Before Huamin could say anything, he dragged Huamin all the way to the pharmacy. He was even more familiar with the way there than Huamin. A bottle of omeprazole enteric capsules, Huasiqian said anxiously as they stood by the pharmacy window. The nurse in charge of getting the medicine had just taken a nap, so her movements were slow. She got up in a daze. Hurry up. Huasiqian suddenly raised his voice, scaring the nurse who was fetching the medicine. She didn't dare to delay, so she immediately handed the medicine to Huasiqian. Huasiqian took out $100 bill and threw it at the window. Then he dragged Huamin away. In the lounge area on the second floor, Huasiqian poured a cup of warm water and handed it to Huamin. Hurry up and take your medicine. Huamin didn't say anything. He took the water, took out 2 stomach pills and swallowed them. How did you know I took these pills? Huamin was confused. Why did Huasiqian seem to know her so well? The two of them hadn't interacted much in the past few years. Don't talk nonsense. You were perfectly fine, so why did your stomach suddenly act up? Huasiqian asked coldly. He was different from his usual jovial self. I was too busy and forgot to eat. Too busy? Is everyone else at Southside dead? You're the only one who's busy? Where are the others? Huasiqian was annoyed. Everyone else has their own jobs. I think I should withdraw my investment and open my own hospital. Otherwise, you will suffer from gastric perforation if you keep being ordered around like this, Huasiqian said fiercely. Even if you open a hospital, I won't go. Huamin went against him. Just like a child who was angry. Looking at Huamin's stubbornness, Huasiqian was both angry and amused. Qin Chu is so rich, but he can't afford to raise you? Why are you still at work? What does this have to do with money? I want to maintain my independent working ability and personality. I don't want to be a dependent. You always have your reasons, twisting words and forcing logic. How can there be a woman like you in this world? You're so weird that it's scary. Your temper is like a cow's, disobedient and stubborn. After saying that, Huasiqian turned around and left after scolding him. Huamin pursed his lips, got up, and returned to his office to continue working. 20 minutes later, Huasiqian pushed open the door to Huamin's office and placed something on Huamin's desk. Hurry up and eat. Huamin looked at it and saw that it was vegetable porridge and cornbread, which was good for the stomach. You didn't put poison in here, did you? Huamin thought that it was a little strange that Huasiqian was being so nice to her. I put arsenic in here. Why? Do you dare to eat? Huasiqian said as he opened the box of vegetable porridge with a smile. He handed it to Huamin. If you have a weak stomach, you should be more careful. How could you forget to eat? Are you an idiot? You're the idiot? Huamin retorted. Yes, I'm an idiot. Hurry up and eat, stop talking nonsense. After saying that, he snatched some of the documents from Huamin's hands and threw them to the side. Then Huasiqian sat across from Huamin and watched her eat. Under Huasiqian's watchful eyes, Huamin ate the porridge and cornbread in small bites. As expected, her stomach felt a lot warmer and she didn't protest anymore. Huasiqian. What? Why are you so nice to me? Huamin asked word by word. Chapter 572. Do I need a reason to be nice to you? Huasiqian looked at Huamin, amused. Of course, no one would be nice to someone for no reason. There must be a reason or a purpose. Purpose? Haha. Then just think of it as me trying to get you on my side to deal with the old man with me. That's why I'm being nice to you. Huasiqian smiled meaningfully. Huamin remained silent. After a while she said, I will deal with Hu Jinghai. When he shamelessly attacked my mom in our old house, I decided to take revenge on him and his self-righteous mistress. Isn't that great? We're finally on the same side. I don't want to work with you. I have ways to deal with them myself, Huamin said proudly. Hehe, you're good. Just then, Huasiqian received a phone call and stood up. I'm going to go now. Take care of yourself, don't think that you're made of iron. The next time I see you having gastric problems, I'll whip you first. Huamin was speechless. What kind of logic was that? Why did he have to be whipped when he was sick? Therefore, Huasiqian was definitely a psychopath. At the seductive Fox nightclub, Suyu ignored the news and continued to eat, drink and have fun with a group of rich heirs. What's going on with you? Tang Chuan came over and sat down beside him. There's nothing going on. Wasn't it just a provocation? I heard that GK said that they'll get you in a week. Apparently, they've already contacted the celebrities under your company and offered you 3 times the price. People are all snobs. They'll betray you for sure if they get the money. Then let them go. They're just celebrities, I'm making new ones. Suyu took a sip of red wine and smiled. How can you still smile at a time like this? Oh my god, you have such a big heart, Tang Chuan exclaimed. If I don't laugh, how can I cry? Besides, it's just a small matter. Is there a need to cry? It's not like I, Suyu, haven't never seen the wind and the waves, so don't worry about me. Yes. We won't worry for nothing. When Qin Chu destroys your nest, don't complain to us, Tang Chuan said sarcastically. Don't worry, as long as you're still alive, you'll never see the classic scene of my home being raided. Suyu's insolence was known to the world. I have the looks, I have the money, I am invincible, I can get whatever I want. There are only things I don't want and nothing I can't get. This was the state of Lord Su's life for the first 20 years or so. However, his entire life was turned upside down when his nemesis Hwamion appeared. Suyu liked to wear bright colors, different from Chinchu's black and gray colors. Tonight he wore an orange shirt and a limited edition Cartier bracelet on his wrist. It was fashionable yet elegant. Jian Tong played with the others in the private room for a while and sang for a while. Then she sat down beside Suyu. She was promoted after Zhao Qingya went missing. Rumors said that she was Suyu's new lover. Because she was the female lead of several movies, she was often the one standing next to Suyu at press conferences for new movies. However, only she knew the truth. She had been by Suyu's side for a while now, but Suyu never even touched her hand. Not to mention sleeping with her. Women were like this. If they liked a man, they would feel uneasy if they didn't sleep with him. It was as if they didn't belong to each other. President Su, I'd like to propose a toast to you. Thank you for taking care of me all this time. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to make a name for myself. Jian Tong poured herself a glass of red wine and raised her glass to Suyu with a slightly smile. Chapter 573. Suyu didn't say anything. Instead, he raised his glass and took a sip. President Su, I know you didn't react to the confrontation with GK on the surface, but I'm sure you already have a plan. You're smart. Suyu glanced at Jian Tong and said, if you need me for anything, just let me know. Jian Tong will do anything for you, an imperial star. Jian Tong wasn't a flowery actress. She was a woman of few words and knew her place, which was why Suyu tried so hard to promote her. He wasn't like Mion Mion. Mion Mion didn't become arrogant after a bit of fame. It's fine, just do your job normally. If they come to hire you, just raise the price. It's best if it's 10 times higher. And then? Jian Tong asked softly. Then you can sign with them and go straight to them. President Su, I won't leave Imperial Star no matter how much money they give me. I'll only follow you, Jian Tong explained anxiously. Don't worry, this is only part of my plan. Don't worry about it. It's a part of the plan. Jian Tong seemed to have vaguely understood something. Suyu smiled and didn't say anything else. When the party ended, Jian Tong was escorted home by bodyguards. Suyu got into his black Lamborghini. I say, are you really going to be a monk? Jian Tong is such a great girl. Didn't you bring her home to sleep with? It's good to release some heat. Men will become impotent if they don't have sex for a long time. Wei Liao laughed. Even if I don't have sex for a year, I'm still invincible. Don't compare me, a god, to mortals like you, okay? After speaking, Suyu stepped on the gas and the Lamborghini sped away. Damn, he's so pretentious. Wei Liao and Tang Chuan were speechless at Suyu's recent behavior. Was it really fun to sleep alone in such a big villa? Suyu's life had been very fulfilling recently. He wouldn't stay up all night to play. Other than going to work, she went home on time. Occasionally she would cook for herself. Beside Suyu's bed, there were 3 photo frames of the same woman. The first photo was taken secretly by Suyu in the hospital with Hwamin wearing glasses. The second photo was of a charity auction. Hwamin was wearing an evening gown and standing on the stage. The third picture was a picture of her falling asleep a few days ago. Her face was smudged by her own drawing. He looked so adorable. Suyu felt like he was possessed. But I have to look at these photos every night before I go to bed. He even thought that sooner or later Hwamin would be sleeping in his bed. There's a saying that's right, a person must have a goal in life. Hwamin was married, yes, and his behavior was immoral. However, he wasn't a third party because the title of third party and mistress was based on the premise that Hwamin cheated on him. Hwamion had to accept him and maintain some kind of relationship with him before she could call him a homewrecker or a third party. The current situation was that Hwamin and Chinchu were very close, but Hwamin kept him at arm's length. He was tortured by Hwamin time and time again, and turned around in loneliness time and time again. Therefore, at most, he was a single dog that was in love with Hwamin. Just then he received a text message. It was from his assistant, and boss, 5 artists from our company have signed contracts and are ready to jump ship to GK. Got it. After replying to Anne's text, Suyu smiled and muttered to himself. Chinchu, you want to keep playing? Fine, I'll play with you. Chapter 574. GK Headquarters - Sir, our new company is progressing well. In such a short time, 5 superstars from Imperial Star have already signed agreements of intent with us. Assistant Yang was in a good mood. He brought a cup of coffee to Qin Chu's desk and carefully flattered him. Too slow, Qin Chu said faintly. 5 superstars really weren't Qin Chu's ultimate goal. His goal was to get all of Imperial Star's artists to come out on the red carpet. In other words, he wanted to poach all of Imperial Star's pillars. Sir, Imperial Star has been around for so many years. They have the support of financial groups and the Su family's connections. They're not like those small companies that we can easily destroy. Sir, please calm down. Assistant Yang thought that for a big company like Imperial Star Entertainment, it was already good enough that they were able to poach 5 superstars in such a short time. It would be embarrassing if they couldn't even poach one. After all, GK Film and Television's opening ceremony was in a few days and they would walk the red carpet. Tell them to get it done quickly. Also, the agreement of intent isn't safe. Tell them to get the real contract as soon as possible. Sir. At first, everyone thought that Qin Chu's orders were impossible. Later they realized that money made the world go round. However, the agreement of intent was only a preliminary agreement and couldn't be considered the final contract. Qin Chu was very careful and didn't celebrate too early. After all, he didn't think that Su Yu was an idiot and would be defeated so easily. Plus, after such a big commotion, not only did Su Yu not react, he even avoided the media every day and had the time to eat breakfast. Therefore, Qin Chu thought that he had a plan and had to be careful. Inside the luncheon group cafeteria, Qin Chu rarely ate in the cafeteria because he always liked peace and quiet. The few times he did, it was because he brought clients to visit the cafeteria and observe the company. Today, Qin Chu made a rare appearance in the cafeteria. As soon as he walked in, hundreds of employees all stood up. President Qin. Their neat appearance was comparable to a military parade. It was obvious that the employees were of high quality. Little Yang followed behind Qin Chu. He had never felt so superior before. It turned out that by standing beside Chairman Qin, she could borrow his powerful aura to make herself dazzling. At this moment he suddenly thought of his boss's woman. That woman had an extraordinary temperament. She wasn't devastatingly beautiful, but the moment his boss saw her, his eyes became gentle. She must feel very happy standing next to the boss. Qin Chu found a seat and sat down. Little Yang immediately went to get some food, and the boss appeared in the staff cafeteria. Everyone in the kitchen was flattered. The quick-witted chef specially added 2 stir-fried dishes for the boss. Qin Chu and Little Yang sat facing each other. Little Yang ate silently. At this moment the sound of high heels approached. Assistant Yang looked up and saw Jiang Linyue's delicate face. Jiang Linyue always wore branded clothes and had a strong presence. She drove an expensive car and was young, so she could be considered a kind person in GK. President Qin. She said coquettishly. What is it? Qin Chu elegantly wiped the corner of his mouth. He looked up and glanced at her face. President Qin. I want to talk to you about our new film and television company. Work matters can be discussed in the conference room. Qin Chu coldly refused. But, this is a private matter, Jiang Linyue said, unwilling to give up. Private matter? Qin Chu raised his eyebrows slightly and looked up at her again. Sir, should I leave for a moment? Upon hearing that Director Jiang said it was a private matter, Little Yang felt like he was unnecessary. He quietly asked Qin Chu. Chapter 575. Qin Chu ignored Assistant Yang, meaning that he wasn't going to let him go. Speak. In the end, Qin Chu gave Jiang Linyue a chance to talk about the new company. Jiang Linyue was immediately overjoyed. She sat down next to Assistant Yang directly across from Qin Chu. President Qin. Although I work in the design department, I've been paying close attention to the opening of our film and television company. I also know that you've been trying to rope in a lot of famous movie stars. There's an A-list actress at Imperial Star, Annie Liang, and she's the cousin of one of my best friends. With this relationship, I'm sure it won't be a dream to convince her to come over. Of course, I'll have to use my personal connections. That won't be necessary. Director Jiang, since you work in the design department, you should do your job well. Qin Chu's voice was calm and his intentions were clear. He wasn't happy about Jiang Linyue's words at all. Upon hearing Qin Chu's words, Jiang Linyue's expression changed slightly. Sir, I just want to do more for the company. I've been at GK for a long time and I'm considered an old employee. I know what I'm doing. I'm not here to ask for credit, I just want to express my determination. I hope you can give me this opportunity. If you can convince Annie Leong, then that's great. Our company can also offer you 3 times the price of Imperial Star. You can talk to her. Thank you for your trust, President Qin. But Qin Chu wanted to say something, but he stopped. Jiang Linyue immediately looked at Qin Chu nervously when she heard that he had something else to say. But if you don't succeed this time, then don't ever think about getting involved in film and television again. You should know that I don't like it when employees overstep their authority. Since you work in the design department, then you should put your efforts into the design department and produce more works. I understand. Jiang Linyue nodded. However, she didn't seem to have any intention of leaving. Instead, she stared at Qin Chu's chef's masterpiece. This looks so delicious, is it broccoli? Jiang Linyue immediately pretended to be naive. She wanted to use her naive expression to get Qin Chu's attention. However, reality was always cruel. Qin Chu just said faintly, "Then I'll give it to you." Jiang Linyue was just about to rejoice when she saw Qin Chu elegantly stand up and straighten the slightly wrinkled sleeves of his suit. Then, he left. Little Yang hadn't eaten yet. When he saw the boss leave, he also got up and left. Jiang Linyue didn't even get the chance to thank the boss before everyone looked at him strangely. "What are you looking at?" "Eat your food," Jiang Linyue said fiercely with a cold expression. In front of Qin Chu and in front of her subordinates, she was always different. This was something that was very admirable. On the other side, at the South Side Sanatorium, it was rare for Huamin to get off work early and not have to work the night shift. She was so happy that she stopped at the supermarket on her way home. "Mr. Qin, I'm at the supermarket. What do you want to eat tonight?" Huamin sweetly picked up the phone. "Eat you? Can't we have fun? Can you be serious?" Huamin chuckled. "I'm serious, I really want to eat you." Qin Chu's voice had a unique charm to it. If he said this to Huamin, she would definitely blush. Luckily, he was on the phone. "Hey, let's stop joking. Hurry up and tell me what you want to eat. I rarely get off work early, so I'll make it for you." "Myun, let's go back to the old mansion, okay? I want to see my dad." Qin Chu's voice was very soft. He seemed to be carefully asking for Huamin's opinion. He occasionally called back and heard that his father's old illness had relapsed since autumn, and he seemed to be in poor health. No matter how much they treated Huamin, they were still his biological parents, so Qin Chu's heart still softened. Hearing that Huamin didn't reply, Qin Chu thought she was angry. "Myun, are you angry?" he asked tentatively. Chapter 576. "No, I was just thinking about what kind of cigarettes your dad likes to smoke. The last time I went there, I only remember that it was a blue pack of cigarettes, but I don't remember the name. Do you know what it is?" "I'll buy a few," Huamin said casually. Huamin's words warmed Qin Chu's heart. He thought that she was angry, but she was already silently choosing cigarettes for his father. How could he not love a woman like her? In the end, Huamin bought a few Nanjing cigarettes that cost 580 yuan each. Apparently, that cigarette was Qin Chu's father's favorite. Then she bought some fresh fruits and Huamin drove straight home. When she parked her car at Imperial Park, Qin Chu's car arrived as well. Qin Chu got out of the car and moved everything into the Maybach. Then Huamin changed into a simple pair of jeans, a white spaghetti strap and a black sweater. She took her bag and sat in the passenger seat. "Honey, are you hungry?" On the way, Qin Chu raised his right hand and placed it on Huamin's small hand, asking gently. "I'm a little hungry." Huamin rubbed her stomach. Today the cafeteria at Southside had reached an all-time high. The pickled cabbage stewed pork ribs tasted terrible. Huamian really wanted to ask that chef, "What on earth did you do to make such delicious ingredients taste so bad?" Then she thought about it and decided to forget it. There were hundreds of people at Southside eating here. So in the end Huamin only ate a few mouthfuls. She had been busy since noon, so when Qin Chu asked her, she was indeed a little hungry. "How about it? I'll give it to you right now." Qin Chu slid his big hand down to her thigh. Only then did Huamian realize what he meant when he said he was hungry. She immediately raised her hand and slapped Qin Chu's shoulder. She laughed and scolded, "You pervert." Qin Chu looked at her innocently and asked, "Honey? I just wanted to say, do you want me to get you some fruit from the trunk? How is that perverted? Are you thinking too much again?" Huamin, After being played by Mr. Qin again, Huamin felt like she was going to bury her face in the ground. The two chatted and laughed along the way and finally arrived at the Qin manor. Ever since their last talk, Qin Chu's father had to compromise. He rarely went to the company and he didn't care about projects that cost more than 100 million yuan. He gave all the power to his son. After all, he only had one son. Plus, the major shareholders on the board of directors all recognized Qin Chu's abilities, so Qin Yumin didn't interfere. Recently, his health had not been very good, so he could recuperate at home. Occasionally he would go abroad. Could be said that his life was fulfilling. At the entrance of the manor, Qin Chu drove the Maybach into the driveway and parked it in front of the gate. Then the two of them got out of the car and walked in. "Young master." "Madam." The maid was more sensible. When she saw Qin Chu and his wife, she immediately greeted them. "Where's my dad?" "Master is upstairs." "I'll go get him." "Okay." Qin Chu asked his father directly. He didn't ask his mother because he had always been careful. When he saw that his mother's car wasn't there, he guessed that she had gone out. When Qin Yumin came down and saw the two of them, he didn't show much on his face. He only asked, "You're back?" Huamin didn't say anything. He quietly took the fruit to the side, washed it and put it on a plate. Then he brought it over. Qin Chu and his father sat on the sofa and talked for a while. The maid said, master, a young lady, it's time to eat." Qin Chu and his father stood up. "My mom went out." "She's not coming back for dinner?" Qin Chu asked. "Yeah, she's been addicted to playing cards lately. She often plays until late at night." Qin Yumin sounded like he was complaining. "She likes it, just let her play. As long as she's not addicted to it, it's fine," Qin Chu advised his father. Qin Yumin nodded. The three of them sat at the dinner table. Huamin didn't talk much because she didn't know what to say. After all, she wasn't liked in this family, so she just ate in silence. "Any news from your stomach?" Suddenly, Qin Yumin's words broke the silence. Qin Chu and Huamin were surprised when they heard what he said. Huamin even wondered if he was talking to her. Chapter 577. Mian, Dad's asking you a question. Qin Chu looked at Huamin with a slight smile. Ahem, not yet. Huamin lowered her head. She was embarrassed to talk about this in front of the elders. Just then Qin Yumin nodded and said, "You guys aren't young anymore, don't just focus on your career. Hurry up and have a child. My health is deteriorating day by day. Maybe I won't have the chance to see a grandchild by the time I leave. That would be a shame." "Dad, you're fine, don't think too much about it," Qin Chu comforted. "Yeah, you'll be fine." No matter how estranged Huamin was with them, she was still a soft-hearted woman. Hearing Qin Chu's father say this made her feel bad. "We're old, the world belongs to you young people." Though Huamin isn't the ideal daughter-in-law in my and your mother's eyes. Fate is sometimes a magical thing. Not everything will go according to one's wishes. I haven't been feeling well lately, so I've been reading and thinking about a lot of things. Since you guys are husband and wife, you should treat each other well. It's a blessing that the two of you can live together. Cherish it." "I will, Dad." Qin Chu nodded as if he was making a promise to his father. Qin Yumin looked at Huamin again and said, "No matter how unpleasant things were in the past, it's all in the past. Since you guys are a family now, I hope you guys can live happily ever after. I know it's useless to apologize for what happened, after all, she's gone. However, I still want to apologize to you. If I have the chance, I want to apologize to your mother as well. It's our fault for being so ridiculous and causing such a tragedy for your family." Qin Yumin's eyes were glistening with tears as he said this. The truth was, he didn't know about what happened until later. Before that, the driver who caused the accident had been in contact with Lady Qin. However, Qin Yumin couldn't ignore the accident. He had to protect his wife first. Therefore, he had been feeling guilty all these years. Even though he wasn't the murderer, he was an accomplice. Huamin was quite surprised that an old man of such status would suddenly apologize and repent to him. He wasn't mentally prepared at all. If it wasn't for Qin Chu gently touching her arm, she probably wouldn't have recovered. My mother has already forgiven Qin Chu. However, it seems that it will take some time for her to forgive you," Huamin said slowly. "We won't ask for her forgiveness. People have to pay the price for their mistakes. I think my illness is retribution." Huamin listened quietly. In comparison, Qin Chu's father was indeed much better than his mother. Although his father was old-fashioned and strict, at least he was reasonable and could distinguish right from wrong. However, Qin Chu's mother was quite scary. She was very controlling. Not only would she control her husband for the rest of his life, but she would also control her son. As long as she didn't get what she wanted, she would flip out and become violent. After Qin Yuman said this, he picked up a small wine glass and took a sip of white wine. He seemed to be in a heavy mood. "Dad, don't drink too much, the doctor said it's bad for your head." Qin Chu was a little worried. "It's fine, if the king of hell wants me to die at midnight, then I won't live to see dawn. Life and death are predestined, how could a glass of wine have anything to do with it? Don't make a fuss over nothing." After that, Qin Yuman looked at his son and asked, "I heard that you're going to invest in film and television." "Yes." Qin Chu nodded. "Why?" Qin Yuman continued to ask as he looked at his son. After Qin Chu heard this, he first turned to look at Huamin, as if he was hesitating on how to answer his father's question. Chapter 578. "I don't like Suyu," Qin Chu replied word for word. "Pih." Huamin almost spat out the soup in his mouth when he heard this answer. She thought that Qin Chu would definitely tell his father that the film and television company was profitable and had a bright future or something. She didn't expect Mr. Qin to be so willful. He didn't like Suyu? Was that really a reason? If Qin Chu's father wasn't here, Huamin would have burst out laughing. His Mr. Qin was a comedian, okay? What would Suyu think if he heard this? Huamin tried hard not to laugh. He lowered his head and pretended to eat. Qin Yuman froze for a second when he heard this. Then he smiled and said, "I didn't know my son could be so willful. Your son is immortal too. He needs to eat and sleep. Don't treat him like a god," Qin Chu said in all seriousness. "You're right, but it's always good for young people like you to spar and learn from each other. Making money in the film and television industry is one thing, but not letting Imperial Star dominate the industry is also a contribution to the industry. After all, if one company monopolizes the film and television industry, actors and actresses have no choice. What you're doing is giving young people who want to become famous a lot of opportunities." "Dad, you're thinking too much." Qin Chu didn't think that he would think of so many reasons to invest in the film and television industry. Giving opportunities to young people? He wasn't Lei Feng, why would he help others? He just didn't like Suyu, because he was too free. He was so free that he went to South Side and flirted with his wife. Qin Chu couldn't tolerate this. To Qin Chu, Huamin was his only and final bottom line. Anyone who dared to touch Huamin would die. Simple and violent. This was the arrogant Mr. Qin's style. After dinner, Qin Chu drank some tea with his father in the living room and talked about the company's current situation. Huamin sat on the side with his phone in his hand, chatting with Jixin and Lingling. Even after they left, they still didn't see Lady Qin. Huamin felt that this was the best way to avoid any unpleasantness. On the way back, Qin Chu held Huamin's hand and refused to let go. "Why are you holding on to me so tightly? Are you afraid that I'll run away? No matter where you go, you'll always be my wife." Qin raised her hand and kissed it. "Thank you for buying cigarettes for my father. My father seems to have accepted you and is even apologizing for the past. This makes me very happy. Actually, let me say something. Don't be angry." Huamin laughed. "Go ahead. Your dad is much better than your mom," Huamin said honestly. Qin Chu immediately laughed out loud. "Why are you laughing?" "I'm laughing because you said what my dad and I think. Not only you but everyone who interacts with them also thinks the same. My dad is more than 10 times better than my mom. One is an ambitious and far-sighted entrepreneur, while the other is a controlling housewife with no foresight. Do you think it's possible? I really don't understand why your dad married your mom in the first place. People say that if your dad marries the wrong person, your childhood will be filled with pain. If you marry the wrong woman, your middle age will be filled with pain. If your son marries the wrong woman, your old age will be filled with pain," Huamin said enthusiastically. Qin Chu smiled. "Luckily it's only pain in my childhood. I'll definitely be happy in my middle age. In the future I want my son to marry a good wife like you. Then we'll be happy in our old age. It's never too late to make up for it." "You're shameless, who wants to give birth to your son?" Huamin teased with a smile. "A daughter is fine too, I like both." The two made out all the way. When they were almost home, Chin Chu suddenly asked, "Honey, are you sleepy?" "I'm not sleepy." "Then how about I take you somewhere?" Chin Chu smiled mysteriously. Then he made an emergency U-turn and changed the direction of the car. Huamin had a feeling that tonight was going to be very interesting. Chapter 579. Huamin didn't ask where Chin Chu wanted to take her because it was pointless. Based on her past experience, if she asked, Mr. Chin would at most reply with 2 words, "Take a guess." Guessing back and forth was a waste of brain cells, and Huamian didn't want to do it. After all, she was so tired at Southside that she didn't want to use her brain when she got home. Therefore, she quietly waited for Mr. Chin to arrange everything for her. Anyways, as long as she was with Chin Chu, she didn't care where they went. It didn't matter if it was eating at a food stall, admiring the night view by the beach, watching a movie downtown, or going to the night market in the suburbs. Even if it was just the 2 of them strolling on the road, it was fine. 20 minutes later, Chin Chu parked his flashy Maybach at the entrance of a 7-story nightless city center. Huamin got out of the car and looked up. She knew this place, it was the largest arcade in the city. No matter the season, it was always full. Apparently, it made a lot of money every day. It wasn't just kids who played video games these days, many adults were addicted to it as well. There were all kinds of games from the 1st floor to the 7th floor. It was a big deal. "Want to play video games?" Chin Chu tilted his head and asked Huamin. "Since we're already here, let's play." "We can't sleep anyway," Huamin said with a smile. Chin Chu held her hand and the 2 of them walked in. They took the elevator to the 7th floor. There weren't many people on the 7th floor because the equipment was very high-end. Even the game coins were several times more expensive than the other floors. This was the so-called VIP, right? Rich people could enjoy the best service wherever they went. As soon as they walked in, Chin Chu exchanged 3,000 yuan worth of game coins at the counter. Then he carried a small basket in one hand and held Huamin's hand with the other. They walked through the arcade. Huamin almost fainted at this warm and loving scene. Fortunately, Chin Chu's exposure rate was very low and not many people knew him. Otherwise, the sky would be turned upside down. Chin Chu and Huamin played around with the plushies for a while. Huamin tried a few times, but he still couldn't find the black charcoal plushie that he wanted. After catching a few rabbits, he gave up and went to the fishing machine with Chin Chu. There were only 2 positions for the fishing machine. The opposite side was already occupied by a girl, and there was a man standing behind her. He should be her boyfriend. Huamin sat opposite her. Chin Chu sat beside Huamin and considerately put in the coins for her. On the other hand, Huamin was very accurate and scored very quickly. "Holy shit. He's so good. He's an expert," the young girl with heavy makeup said in admiration as she watched Huamin play the game. Huamin smiled but didn't say anything. Chapter 580. Tang Chuan was a video game enthusiast, different from Wei Liao and Su Yu. Wei Liao and Su Yu spent most of their time at nightclubs and private clubs. Only Tang Chuan's childishness remained, and he often came here with a few other young masters to play. Tang Chuan never thought that he would see Huamin here. The person sitting next to her was Chin Chu. Tang Chuan took out his phone and secretly recorded a short video not far behind them. Then he sent it to Su Yu. So, as Chin Chu's buddy, Gao Ran was sometimes very annoying but only occasionally. Wei Liao and Tang Chuan were Su Yu's buddies, but they were always annoying. Although only Huamin's back could be seen in the short video, Su Yu recognized her immediately. At this moment, in the executive meeting room at Imperial Star's headquarters. After watching the short video, Su Yu looked up and looked around. "Did you guys remember today's mission?" "Yes, President Su." The dozen or so executives all nodded. It was the middle of the night, but the big boss wasn't sleeping, wasn't flirting with girls, and wasn't going to nightclubs. Instead, he was working overtime and having a meeting. It seemed like Su Yu could be serious sometimes. Dismissed. After speaking, Su Yu stood up and left the meeting room. Then he immediately called Tang Chuan. "Hello? Where did you see her?" Su Yu didn't hold back at all and went straight to the point. "Why aren't you sleeping in the middle of the night?" "Sleep your ass. Ha, it's good that you slept with her. That girl is crazy about you." Tang Chuan laughed evilly. "Cut the crap. Tell me what I want." Su Yu couldn't wait. "What? If I tell you where she is, will you come immediately?" Tang Chuan continued to tease Su Yu with a smile. Little bastard, I'll give you 3 seconds. If you don't tell me, I'll send you to South Side again. Suyu began to threaten him. No, no, no. Lord Su, I'm done with you. I don't want to go to South Side again. Not only is the food bad, but Huimin is too damn scary. Tang Chuan still remembered South Side was still fresh in his memory. Not only was he tortured by Huimian, but he also couldn't eat, sleep, or get any girls over there. He was in a bad mood and was in a bad mood. Cut the crap. Get to the point. Suyu was impatient. If Tang Chuan was in front of him right now, he would definitely smash his head into pieces. She's on the 7th floor of the arcade. Before Suyu could say anything, Tang Chuan continued, but I advise you not to come. You should know from the video that she came with her husband. You'll only be looking for trouble if you come. Suyu remained silent upon hearing this. Hello? Lord Su, are you still there? Tang Chuan was confused. Turn on the video call. Then Suyu quickly hung up the phone. Then Tang Chuan restarted the video call. After the two connected, Tang Chuan purposely didn't point the camera at Huimin. Do you want to die? Suyu cursed. I can see her, but a bottle of Lafite. Tang Chuan bargained. Suyu's wine cellar was full of good wine. As a veteran wine lover, he owned a private estate in France. Apparently, Suyu would personally go there every year and choose a batch of good wine. He would send it back and store it for himself. Therefore, people in the industry would be honored if they could drink a bottle of Suyu's wine. Stop talking nonsense. I'll send you 10 bottles of red wine later. Hurry up and let me see. Suyu had a bad temper. He didn't have much patience. Tang Chuan saw that he had succeeded. He smiled and turned the camera. Then, the scene changed. Where is she? Suyu's face darkened. I swear she was playing fisherman just now. Is it true? Tang Chuan quickly explained. He was also confused. How did she disappear in such a short time? Motherfucker, if you can't find her, I'll go to the arcade and destroy you, Suyu threatened. Tang Chuan looked at Suyu's crazy face and laughed until his stomach hurt. Just you wait, Lord Su. Even if I have to turn this place upside down, I'll find your sweetheart. Tang Chuan turned around to look. At this time, a beautiful face appeared in the video call. Are you looking for me? Tang Chuan, who was holding the phone, and Suyu, who was in the video, were both dumbfounded by the sudden turn of events.